Okay, so let's talk about a name that's, well, more than just a name. It's a cultural landmark. Frank Sinatra. For a huge chunk of the 20th century, his story really was the story of American pop culture.
I mean, at his peak, it is really, really hard to overstate just how famous this guy was. He wasn't just a singer. No way. He was an institution, a total phenomenon, who basically defined a whole era of music and style.
And then, boom. Just as fast as he shot to the top, he came crashing down. This isn't just a story about some great singer, you guys. It is genuinely one of the most dramatic collapses and, believe it or not, one of the most epic comebacks in the history of entertainment. So how on earth did it all go so wrong?
So, to get this story, we've got to go back to the beginning. It all starts in Hoboken, New Jersey. We're talking about the son of Italian immigrants whose journey from a regular working-class neighborhood to, global stardom was, well, it was nothing short of meteoric.
Man, his early years were a real hustle. Can you believe he dropped out of high school after only 47 days? All because he saw Bing Crosby and decided, that's what I want to do. His big break finally came in 35, when he won this huge national talent show. And that was it. That was the win that put him on the path to joining the biggest big bands of the era. So what was his secret sauce? What made him so different from everyone else? Well, it really started with his technique. He took this classical Italian style of singing called bel canto and adapted it for pop music. The whole point of it is to tell a story with this super smooth, unbroken, emotional vocal line.
And this is where it gets really, really cool. He built that style in a totally revolutionary way. Get this, he actually studied a trombone player, Tommy Dorsey, to learn how to control his breath so he could sing these impossibly long phrases. Plus, he completely mastered the microphone. He didn't just sing into it, he treated it like an instrument itself, creating this incredibly intimate, almost conversational vibe. It felt like he wasn't just singing to you, it felt like he was telling you a secret. And the result of all that intimacy? Pure, absolute mania. We're talking about the world's first modern pop idol. The teenage girls of the 1940s, the Bobby Soxers, they were like his army. Their devotion kicked off a level of mass hysteria that, honestly, the world had just never seen before in music. Nothing even came close.
So he's on top of the world, right? But you know what they say, the higher you climb, the further you have to fall. And Sinatra's fall, wow, it was brutal. It was basically a perfect storm of every single thing that could go wrong, going wrong all at once.
It really is the million-dollar question of his life, isn't it? How did the biggest star on the planet lose it all? It wasn't just one thing. It was everything, hitting him all at the same time.
Okay, so this crisis hit him from every angle. First, his public image completely imploded because of this super public, super messy affair with the actress Ava Gardner. It just shattered his whole family man persona. Then, politically, his liberal views got him labeled a communist sympathizer right in the middle of the Red Scare, which was career poison. And then, the absolute unthinkable happened. His voice, his golden ticket, just gave out. A vocal cord hemorrhage silenced him right there on stage. By 1952, the guy was totally radioactive in the industry. And that political heat, it wasn't just rumors or talk. I mean, the FBI kept a file on him that ended up being over 2,400 pages long. Just think about that for a second. It detailed everything from his supposed communist sympathies to all those whispers about his connections to organized crime.
Look, this wasn't just a slump, it was way past that. The industry had basically written his obituary. He got dropped by his record label, his film studio, and his talent agency. As far as anyone in Hollywood was concerned, Frank Sinatra was done. Finished. Toast.
But if there is one thing you learn about Frank Sinatra, it's that you never count him out. This next part of the story, it's genuinely one of the greatest comeback stories of all time.
This right here, this was the moment that changed absolutely everything. He had to fight tooth and nail for this dramatic, non-singing role, Private Angelo Maggio in From Here to Eternity. And winning the Oscar for it? Man, that didn't just revive his career, it instantly turned him back into a serious, respected artist. Just like that, he was back.
So now that his Hollywood cred was back, he went back to music, but with this totally revolutionary idea. He signs with Capitol Records and basically invents the concept album. Before this, an album was just a bunch of songs thrown together. He turned it into a cohesive work of art, where every single song helped build one specific powerful mood. And he didn't just do one thing, he became the master of two totally distinct moods.
Working with the brilliant arranger Nelson Riddle, he made these huge, bold, brassy, swinging albums that pretty much defined what cool was in the mid-century. But then on the flip side, he crafted these heartbreakingly vulnerable torch albums. They were all about loneliness and heartbreak, and you can just feel him channeling all the real pain from his own life right into the music. This was a whole new Sinatra. He was weathered, wiser, and somehow even more powerful than before.
So, with his comeback now complete, Sinatra didn't just get his stardom back, he blew right past it. He became something bigger. He became the chairman of the board, a figure with just immense power and a ton of complexity.
Now, here's the side of him you might not know about. He used all that power for good, playing a really important role in the civil rights movement. Back when Las Vegas was still segregated, he just drew a line in the sand. He flat out refused to perform at any hotel that wouldn't let his friend, the great Sammy Davis Jr., stay as a guest or even just eat in their restaurants. He basically used his massive star power as a weapon against segregation.
And of course, the absolute center of his universe in the late 50s and early 60s was the legendary Rat Pack. Come on, these guys weren't just a bunch of entertainers. They were the living, breathing definition of cool. They held court in Vegas and had this enormous cultural influence. And there was never any question who was in charge. Frank was the undisputed leader.
But man, was this guy a walking contradiction. He was a lifelong Democrat who helped get John F. Kennedy elected, but then he gets publicly humiliated by the Kennedys because of his supposed mob ties. And that snub, it famously ended with him taking a sledgehammer to a helipad he just built for a presidential visit. It's wild. And yeah, those rumors about mafia connections, they never, ever went away.
So to make sure he'd never be at the mercy of the industry again, he makes the ultimate power move. He starts his own record label, Reprise Records, and that's where he gets the nickname, the chairman of the board. From then on, he controlled his own destiny, and he used his label to give other artists the kind of creative freedom that the big studios just wouldn't. So, when you put it all together, you have the musical innovator who literally changed the way people sing. You have the activist who stood up against segregation. You have the cultural icon who defined cool for a generation. And of course, you have the deeply flawed, incredibly complex man at the heart of it all. It all leads to one big question, doesn't it? Was Frank Sinatra just a great singer, or was he something more? Was he the single definitive voice of the entire 20th century?